China's Black Mirror lockdowns. This is coming to America. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakat Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh.
Where it's they're talking about
Yahweh Shai.
eating on WeChat, eating their black neighbor to survive the lockdown. Wow. I don't know if you know this, that the Chinese are incredibly racist. Here's the funny thing, is they were talking on WeChat. And the black neighbor was on WeChat. Oh no. So that's him responding. He's like, don't eat me. Zero COVID policy. A city now, Shanghai, has 26 million people. Oh, that's Shanghai. Nice. They're now on full lockdown. Oh, good. We added the music because it was boring. I like it. It's a happy lockdown. Oh, that's nice.
I have to stay inside my house.
I'm afraid of everything. Mostly government.
You see how the streets are completely empty? This is coming to certain states here in America where the streets are going to be empty because everybody is going to be forced to stay at home, because he is going to do something. He's going to come up with some new pandemic that's basically going to justify him passing some draconian legislation that forces you to stay in your homes. Oh, but trust me, it gets more interesting.
Come on, John, know you're alive. Don't do it. And by the way, the streets are completely empty because anyone, I don't know if you noticed, who was breaking quarantine. This is the problem. They were sent to jail.
See? I told you so. No, you said wet shirt don't break. Now, shirt been born. Twist it. Hey, help. Right here, get it.
Well, at least they're having fun in jail.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're learning about each other's cultures. So, when people talk about dystopian futures, it's already happening. And it's happening in the country that our political representatives, many of whom not only have financial ties, but they publicly praise. Or, in Eric Swalwell's case, with whom he...
And generally, that's what America is becoming. America is becoming a dystopia. Okay, and a matter of fact, in Isaiah 47:1, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." Now, that dust represents confusion because your mainstream media is telling you that the Dow Jones is doing okay, the stock markets are bouncing back, they're starting to do good, the financial system is starting to collect itself, and essentially the economy, this, that, fourth, and the other, is starting to see a better light of day. Meanwhile, they're not really telling you the truth as to what happened, as to what's really going on with this country. So when you start to see the dollar inflate more and you start to see prices go up, the cost of living go up, when you start seeing people lose their jobs because they want to fight hyperinflation here in America, it's going to leave a lot of people confused.
He fornicates on a regular basis.
Oh, it's his only option.
How is that guy still employed? He was banging Chinese spies? Nothing?
He was asexual right up until then.
I mean, if I were banging Chinese spies, I'd expect to at least get audited.
I mean, Kennedy banged a lot of spies, and we saw what happened there.
Not Ted.
No. He just drove women into the river.
He was like, hey, I have international secrets. Like, okay, you can look yourself.
Yes, you've drank those secrets away.
Yes. So Chinese authorities now, they're actually using drones as a way to what? To what? And I'll subtitle this for you. I'll do it as accurately as I can because it's in Chinese. Remind citizens to stay home. Please comply with our COVID restrictions. Control your soul's desire for freedom. Do not open the window or sing. That's what they're saying.
That's not creepy at all.
Do not open the window or sing.
That's pretty much the CCP party platform. Control your soul's desire for freedom.
Yeah, exactly. And there was one lady who was just opening that window like, I just want to sing. Oh, no. Oh, there she goes. Where is her mask now?
They just have snipers. You didn't die from COVID.
No, exactly.
Borrowed for singing.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you know, when in Rome.
It's not K-pop.
So, if you thought that was creepy, the drones, check out this thing. That's completely unnecessary, by the way. You could just use a drone. That's just to intimidate.
That's horrifying.
I know they're joking about it, but this is deadly serious. You know, because E is about to come down with great wrath, like it tells you in Revelation, the 12th chapter. And a part of the so-called elites' great wrath is the fact that he's going to be deploying robots. Robots is going to be used to surveillance the streets. They're going to have checkpoints. You know, you're going to have some kind of card as proof that you took the Kool-Aid, okay? And without that card, basically you won't be able to live this so-called normal life. You're probably still going to have to wear a mask as soon as you leave your home or even while you're in your home. So you can see where this is all going. Now let me remind you that Bill Gates is buying up a lot of these farmlands while these farmers are being put out of business. And the reason why they're doing this is because really they intend on rationing food to certain civilians. So guess what? If you don't take the juicy fruit, then you might suffer from a food shortage in your own home, like how they're going to show you in this video.
Well, Sharper Image did go out of business. You had to do something with all of it.
Hold on, time. So we have perfected technology.
Because when you're stuck inside your own house, you know, you're only limited to whatever food you have in your own home. You know, which is why, you know, our apostles tell us, you know, it would be a good idea to, you know, have like a emergency stash somewhere. Now, I'm not saying, you know, go and buy like, you know, 2 years worth of food or some stupid shit like that, because that shows a lack of faith. You know, I'm not saying buy 2 months worth of food. You want to just have an emergency stash just in case. You know, because some of these lockdowns may not last as long. You know,
To have an autonomous dog-looking thing walk.
That's not an autonomous dog. It's a remote control dog.
because ultimately, like it tells you in, I believe it's Isaiah the 65th chapter, the Lord is going to feed you. If you're of the elect, the Lord is going to make sure you get fed, even if you have to make it rain manna inside your own house. The Lord can do that. He made manna. He made it rain manna in the wilderness, and he made water come out of a rock. You don't think the Lord can give you clean water from your own faucet, out of your own house, even if these devils turned off your water supply? The Lord can make it to where water still come out of your own faucet. You know, or remember the cruse of oil that Elijah used when he was making those cakes. You know, how the cruse of oil did not fail. The Lord can make it to where a infinite amount of water is in your water bottle, so that whenever you're drinking out of your water bottle, your water bottle is still full. The Lord can do that. So you just gotta have faith, man. But still, like elders and certain brothers, have been saying, you still want a emergency stash somewhere, something that could last you, maybe I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe even less than that, because ultimately the Lord is going to feed you, okay? Because what if these devils try to ration you food, and they might try to give you pork, Well, we're not supposed to eat pork, so that's going in the trash. But anyways,
Guy in a right sack going,
Duct tape.
it can only turn left.
The megaphone to
Yeah,
the
they
top
have
of
to
it.
duct tape a megaphone.
That's just to scare people because they want it to look like I Am Legend. The drones already do that job. It's a effective drone.
We have a terrifying headless dog, but we don't have glue that works.
Or the idea of maybe building in a speaker.
Yeah.
No idea.
Duct tape a megaphone.
Maybe go to Bose or something and see if they can help you.
Next is just some animatronic goat with a Teddy Ruxpin on its back.
What the hell is this?
I love you. Stay inside.
Like this caution tape.
We run out of robot dogs. Get real dogs. Get duct tape and speak and spell.
Put duct tape on. It worked just fine.
It's going to be a pigeon with a turntable on its neck. Now, this also may be the most insane thing to come out of China. Again, you just saw the media praising China. This is why this matters. The media doesn't have your best interests at heart. And of course, many of our representatives don't. If they praise China, the only acceptable words to follow if you're working in the American media, a reference to China, is condemnation. For almost anything, pick a subject. Condemn them. Because it's the Communist Chinese Party. Doesn't mean all Chinese people. By the way, that's the best thing you can do for the Chinese citizens as well, who are under the oppressive thumb of the Communist Chinese government. A lot of us forget about them. Maybe the most insane thing that I've seen coming out of China, who are doing a fantastic job, is they're absolutely insane. And I thought they were supposed to be good with science.
Me too.
The Chinese.
Yeah.
Their COVID testing methods. This is real. Testing fish who don't have lungs. They're testing a fish that doesn't have lungs, but then they give them a vaccine for their 2 inflamed hearts.
That is weird, but at least they're not like murdering pets or anything.
No, they actually, I think I have some bad news for you.
What?
So, yeah, they're killing pets.
Oh, it says they're reconsidering.
No, exactly. Nope, they're reconsidering.
They're going to kill.
That's what the dog with the speak and spell taped to its ass said.
Exactly, they're reconsidering murdering your pets.
What is it, a talk boy on there?
Yeah. Hello, this is Peter McAllister speaking. The father.
I saw you smooching with my brother.
Tony, Bob, Griff, you both have COVID. You die. So one of the biggest problems here that residents have there is, they can't go outside. Which isn't all that, because if you go outside, you still find yourself in China. But,
Yes.
since they can't go outside, they're running out of food. Oh, wow. And some are so hungry, obviously.
let's rewind that again.
Which isn't all that, because if you go outside, you still find yourself in China. But,
Yes.
since they can't go outside, they're running out of food. Oh, wow. And some are so hungry, obviously, I think we have an overlay here, they're resorting to desperate...
And you see, that can lead to a famine, because if you tried to leave your house to go grocery shopping and you don't have a juicy fruit card, then they can detain you indefinitely and lock you up. You see? So it's about to get real, man. And the time is coming where you're gonna have to make some tough decisions. Okay? Now, as you may know, you're not supposed to take the juicy juice. Okay? And you're not supposed to take the CHIP, the CHIP, because if you do, it will lead to your destruction. Because the CHIP, the CHIP is the MOTB, the market of you know what. Okay. So it's coming down to that wire, man.
Measure?
Oh, and they're already talking about mandating it for adults to take the juicy juice as of next year. So
I have the tweet right here that I can read. Bring this up over by L, where it's they're talking about eating on WeChat, eating their black neighbor to survive the lockdown. I don't know if you know this, but the Chinese are incredibly racist. Here's the funny thing: is they were talking on WeChat. And the black neighbor was on WeChat. Oh no! So that's him responding. He's like, "Don't eat me," and they're like, "LMAO," and he's like, "You know Chinese?"
Yeah. There's actually a translate button in the app.
Yeah, and then he says, "Why do you want to eat me?" And contrary to what the media and many people like the former ambassador claimed, I don't know if you know this, people in China are actually getting as.
hey, remember that book called Delectable Negro, okay? You know, now of course, you know, Delectable Negro is predominantly about how Edomites used to, you know, chop us up alive and eat us, okay? They would make meals out of us. So, you know, I mean, at the same time, Jake don't know what's going on, man. You know, he's down there, he's lost. You know, he's probably on his Game Boy Advance, waiting for further orders on you know, when these lockdowns will happen. Jake is lost, man.
Fed up as people in China are allowed to get fed up with the zero COVID policy. Here they are. They're still very polite. If they were Detroit, that cop car would be on a cell for sure.
You see, this is what's going to happen. See how these people, it says they are fighting for food. Okay, that's coming to America too.
Disgusting. Terrible.
It's absolutely terrible, and you know, where's the left speaking? The NBA won't even mention what's going on in China, but they'll, of course not. They'll support Colin Kaepernick and taking a knee. And so this begs the question: well, why aren't they reversing their policies as far as the lockdown policies? Well, this is again, it's political because Xi Jinping, he is up for a party re-election, and for those of you who understand, the person is selected by their party there in China, and if he's seen as weak, he's probably not going to get that seat. So this is about political expediency. It's about the fact that they made such a big deal out of this. They have to keep it alive in order to maintain any votes. And we see that here directly in the United States, right? They're sort of bringing it back out. In other words, if we go into the midterms and COVID is no longer a thing, that is the worst case scenario for Democrats. And that's why this story that you're hearing in China and the political ramifications may sound eerily familiar to the rhetoric that you hear from our scientific experts in the United States.
We need to be prepared to pivot and perhaps go back on some of the mitigations, like masking if required. I hope we don't need to go there. I hope we don't. But if we do, we need to be
I'm pretty sure they're going to find some kind of excuse to go there.
prepared to be flexible and really taper and go.
You see, they're about to come down with some kind of event that's going to change the way you live for the rest of your life. And this is all really geared towards, you know, E come down with that great wrath because he know he have but a short time to implement his new world order.
Guide our actions according to what the data show.
Yeah. No. Need to be flexible. Okay, touch your toes, go jump off a bridge. How about that?
Yeah, that works.
Do it. How about this? Go jump off a bridge first.
The science.
Oh, tries to play it coy. He's like, this is what could maybe happen. I hope we don't.
Yeah.
I really hope that I don't get elected permanently as scientific equivalent of tenure where I have control over everybody. I really hope that I'm not granted the right to access all of your private records. I really hope we don't have to do lockdowns. It's on the table, but I hope it doesn't have to happen. science, by the way. Have you heard? That's what they nickname me. It's like no one nicknamed you that. Well, I call myself that. Yeah.
I mean, so that's pretty much all I'm going to play there. You know, it's coming down to the wire, man. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 5. It says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." So the Lord said that He's going to bring plagues upon the world. You see that? So what, you know, we all know what happens to those who take the juicy juice. You know, and a matter of fact, the brother ahchyam from Los Angeles did a video on how, you know, a lot of these bozos, they took the Capri Sun and they ended up dying from a stroke. Okay? You know, as for the people who survive, who knows what will happen? Especially when you have nano-sized critters inside your body, you know, that they can control or activate once they get to your brain, right? Through cell towers, through satellites, make you do things against your will, you know, shut down your God gene. So, hey man, you know, because ultimately that's what he wants to do. He wants to shut off your antenna to the Most High, so that when you go to pray to the Lord, I mean, of course the Lord will still hear you, but in the eyes of the Lord, you're an abomination because you took the Capri Sun. You know? So once you lose that spiritual connection to, you know, once you're an Israelite, which will be a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native Indian, and you lose that spiritual connection to the Most High Yahweh through His Son Yahushai, that's it, man. Okay, faithlessness is going to kick in, and you're going to see that the C-hip is your only way out, and ultimately it's going to lead to your destruction. You see? But let's get Isaiah 10 and 1. Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." Now, when you look up that word decree, it means either a law or a decision. So this, you know, the fact that they want to fabricate a pandemic so they can justify in locking people down, so they can force people to stay in their homes and make them take the Capri Sun. That's an unrighteous decree, and the scriptures say that destruction unto you who do that. You know. Now, if we go to Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2, it says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn." You see, what a lot of you coons, you Sambos, and you shoe-shining Uncle Tom ninjas out there going to realize is that this man, the Edomites, starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of their nation, the people, they're a bunch of effing devils, man. Okay, you're going to realize they're a bunch of devils. because the Lord is about to allow this man to show his horns. Okay, especially when he comes down with that great wrath, when he start passing these draconian legislations, when you can't work because they require you to take the juicy juice, then what? Oh, he's gonna be the devil then, huh? See, the problem with you niggas is that this man is not the devil until he's putting you through some kind of hell. Oh, then he's the devil. Then now you want to be at home. You're all chubby. You're bald headed. You got a scruffy beard. Your eyes are red because you've been crying all day. I'm gonna lose my job because of the table juicy juice. Well, we've been telling you this dude's the fucking devil. Okay, now let's go to Psalms chapter 91 verse 1. No, as a matter of fact, let's get Psalms 83 verse 1. Okay, Psalms 83 verse 1, it says, keep not thou silent, O Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 2, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. And the main ones who's lifting up the head right now is Amalek. Okay. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Who are the Lord's people? The Israelites, which are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. Okay. And this whole China Black Mirror thing, you know, which the U.S. is going to implement that here in certain states. That's an example of these devils taking crafty counsel, because like it tells you in Micah chapter 2 verse 1, okay, it says Micah 2 and 1. You know what? Let's just get it real quick and then I'll come back. Okay, Micah chapter 2 verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity. When you're trying to force somebody to take something, especially that they know is deadly, you know, you're devising iniquity. That's what you're doing. You're devising iniquity and work evil upon their beds, right? Because the moment these devils lay their little red hairy asses down, they're premeditating on how to further destroy the nation of Israel. When the morning is light, they practice it, meaning they put it into action, because it is in the power of their hands. Now let's go back to Psalms 83 verse 3. So it says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Okay, putting people on lockdowns, trying to force them to take the Capri Sun, you know. You're forcing them to stay in their homes. You're giving them an ultimatum, you know. This is a part of their crafty counsel, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Right, because at one point nobody knew who the true Hebrew Israelites were, and until the Holy Spirit came down upon Abba Bivens and he prophesied, and you know, and then, you know, that's when, you know, we have High Priest Ariel, then Elder Yaquab, King Masha, and, you know, they pretty much taught our apostles, which is our leaders, of whom we see today. Starting with Apostle Tahar to Apostle Rakah, you know, Apostle Ariamalab, Apostle Gabar, you know, Apostle Menactizak from the Connecticut or New York camp. Okay, those are our leaders that we see today. Okay, those are the hidden ones. You know, the Israelites are the hidden ones. It says, they have said, come, let us cut them off. Let us cut who off? Let us cut off the Israelites from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And a part of how they want to do that is by putting a C-hip in you, a CHIP in you. They want to put a device inside you the size of a grain of rice. Okay, they want to put the Capri-Sun inside you, which could, you know, lead to your destruction. It can lead to you perishing. Okay? It says, for they have consulted together with one consent, because all these nations are with it. They are confederate against thee, which the word confederate means an alliance. That's what these summit meetings are about. Okay? Whenever they go to these G20 summit meetings, you know, you're going to see the so-called white man there. Okay, you're going to see the small hats there. You're going to see Ishmael there, which are the Arabs. You're going to see the East Indians there, which is Elam. You're going to see the Chinese and Japanese there. You're going to see the leaders of these different nations there. The leaders of Africa, you know, and I'm talking about Ham. You're going to see him there. But you're not going to hear about an Israelite being a part of those G summit meetings. Why? Because whenever they hold those G summit meetings, they're literally conversing on how to destroy the nation of Israel. So you're not going to hear about an Israelite being there at that meeting. Not at any of these G summit meetings. It says the tabernacles of Edom. Okay, he's the first at the list. Okay, now it tells you in Sirach. See if I can find it. Sirach. It says, let's see, Sirach 12 and 16. I'm pretty sure that's not it, but let's just go ahead and search anyway. Okay, Sirach chapter 12 verse 16, also known as Ecclesiasticus 12 verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. You know, this devil will come as a lamb, but then he'll speak as a dragon. You know, he'll get up on that podium with his little black, little crusty punk ass suit, talking about some, we need to get the black, native, and the Latino community, you know, juiced up. You know, the reason why we are doing this is because we care about their communities, and it makes us sad to see them just wearing masks and coughing all day. Look, man, this motherfucker don't care about you. He's speaking sweetly with his lips, but in his mind, he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. And I'm telling you right now, man, that Capri-Sun, okay, that's a trap. Okay, because that's one of the first steps to cutting you off. You know, that Capri-Sun is one of that's the first step to cutting you off from your power source, because he knows that once he gets the CHIP inside you, you ain't got no hope of salvation. But guess what? You're not going to be able to get the Lord's elect. The Lord is going to shield his elect from that Capri-Sun and from that device the size of a grain of rice. The Lord's going to defend his elect from that. It says, he will weep with his eyes, you know, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Verse 17, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there, what? First. Let's read that again. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him. Who's the him? The Edomites. Okay, Amalek. Esau, Edom. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. So if we go back, right? So these are the nations that are consulted with one consent. Edom, thou shalt find him there first. Edom. It says, and the Ishmaelites, which are the Arabs. Okay, and Edom is talking about the so-called white man, starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of their nation and people. Okay, so it says Edom, the Ishmaelites, which are the Arabs, Moab, which are the Chinese, and the Haganese. And then here you have Gebal, you have Ammon, which are the Japanese, and you have Amalek, which are them small hats humping walls over there in the land of Israel. They come from Amalek. Okay? They are not the real Jews. It says the Philistines, which are Africans, which are Hamites, says with the inhabitants of Tyre. Okay? Verse 8 says, Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salak, or Selah, which really goes back to the Hebrew word Salak. Okay, so these devils, they've been plotting mischief, you know, against the nation of Israel. And their number one excuse for enforcing the capricon upon our people is that, you know, they're going to say that the minority group, they have the highest infection rate, you know, this, that, fourth, and the other. But let's see what Nahum have to say about that. Nahum chapter 3 verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. Who's the bloody city? America's the bloody city. Okay, this is where massive amounts of Israelites' blood was shedded on. It was the blood of the Israelites was shedded on this land, and even to this very day, our blood is still being shedded on this land. So woe to the bloody city, the United States of America. It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. Right, and we are the prey. Okay, it tells you that in Exodus, the 21st chapter. And he that stealeth from man, if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Also in Baruch 3 and 8, it tells you we are yet this day in our captivity. So yeah, I just wanted to share this video with you. With that, I'm going to say shalom. Is on to the next one.